Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I will show you how to use Tinkercad to create your 3D designs, especially if you're new and don't have any experience in creating 3D designs in other websites or apps. I highly recommend Tinkercad to those beginners who want to create 3D designs using your computer, as it's much more user-friendly and easier to use. Without further ado, let's begin. Go to Google and search Tinkercad. Press the link at the bottom. For those who have already logged in into Tinkercad or have already signed up into Tinkercad, then when you press the link, you have already reached the home page of Tinkercad. But for those who haven't done that, then you would have to sign up to Tinkercad either using your Google account or your email. But after that, you then arrive at the home page of Tinkercad. Now, at the left-hand side, you will see that there are lots of different icons to choose. Design and collections are basically the same things. These are usually the Designs and collection are usually icons that lead you to your designs that you have done before this using Tinkercad, as you've seen here. Tutorials is just basically tutorials to help you improve your 3D design skills, and challenges are usually TCAT usually does challenges whereby people who have completed their challenges will either get prizes in the form of certificates and so on and so forth. I rarely use these three because I usually use TCAT to create personal or school projects. If you are like me, then you would most likely not even use these features at all. Right, so back to the focus of today, which is to use Tinkercad. First, to create our 3D design, we have to, of course, press this button, create button. Press it, and you can see there are other also projects that you can make using Tinkercad. One of them is tree design, one of them is circuit and code blocks other than tree design. But I usually use Tinkercad for tree design, so I'm going to use this part only. Okay, click, and we just have to wait. And tada, you have now reached at the workspace of Tinkercad. At the workspace of Tinkercad to create 3 designs. First thing you notice that you have this plane, and which is called a work plane. This is where you usually make your 3 designs using the given using Tinkercad. On the left here, you got all of the different icons to choose from. Firstly, you got the home icon or home view. When you press it, it returns back to the original view before you created your design. This one is the fit all in view, which means that when you pick an object, for example, I pick a cube right in the middle here. When I press this one or press the hotkey F, press it, it'll zoom into the object so that I can get a close-up view of my object that I want to create. Okay. You can also zoom in, zoom out using the roller on your mouse. But if you don't have that, don't worry, you can just simply press the plus and minus button. Besides that, you also have this part, which is the orthographic, the view icon. When you press this, it will change this from view. This is an orthographic view, means a 3D view. If you press this or click this, it will return back to a flat view like this, which is I highly do not recommend because it's harder to see. So I really recommend you guys to see in orthographic view. Okay, this box right here shows the properties of your object that you choose. You can either change or customize the properties. For example, the radius. For a box, when you increase the radius, you make it much more curvy until a point where it becomes a circle. Now, steps usually means that you increase the size, or how do I say shape? You add shapes into your object, because in Tinkercad, you don't simply create designs by using one object only. You have to instead add more objects into your original object to create your design. So Tinkercad basically uses the concept of adding blocks or objects to create your own design. You can also sculpt your object by disappearing or deleting few objects from your original objects to make your 3D design that you want. I'll show you later on how this mechanism works. But return back, if you increase the steps, you'll actually make it much more smoother because you add shapes into your design, make it much more smoother and detailed. But if you decrease the steps, aka reducing the amount of shapes, it becomes less and less smoother to the point it becomes so like a triangle, which is just weird, right? But if you return your radius back to 0, it will just return back to its original shape, aka a box. So it doesn't really happen that much. So steps are usually useful when you want to change the radius. So remember, radius relates to steps. Always remember that. Okay. Now, you can also increase the size of the object by pressing the black dots around it. Click and drag, increase the length, width, and also height. You can also do it here using the button, using the properties here. But I rarely use this because it's much more easier to just use the given, just do it manually. Okay. If you're not happy with the design, your object, you can simply press Ctrl Z to return back to its original object. Okay. You can move the object by left clicking at the object and dragging around. You can change your view by right clicking and moving it around. There are also other features on top. To do it, to use it, you have to combine two objects to use those features. For example, I'll take a cylinder, put it here, increase its height. The up part here is to increase the if you click the white part here or white icon here, you increase the height. Black part down here, black points down here is to increase the size and width. The white part here is to increase the overall width and size, but I rarely use that because it's not that much accurate. Okay, so we have a cylinder. Now, if you combine the cylinder here and you want to combine them, because in Tinkercad, like I said, we usually create designs by combining two or more objects. So if you want to combine this, select the two objects. Okay. Okay, select either one of them. I think red. Press the zoom in, press the fit to view select. Okay, so that it becomes much more nearer. Okay. Click at any part of the work plane as long as it does not include the objects. Click and drag until you get a red box. Drag the red box until the red box completely is within our object, or the object is within our red box released. And then you can simply combine those objects by pressing the combine icon up here, which is called union group. And tada, you have now combined two objects into one. You can simply move it by pressing that left click and moving it around. You can also separate the objects by pressing this other icon right here, Ctrl Shift G. Or you can just press Ctrl G to combine and Ctrl Shift G to ungroup or uncombine. It's just better to press the icons on top because it's much more easier. If you like to remember the hotkey, then just remember. Okay, I'm just going to ungroup or uncombine, and this leaves me with two objects that are completely separated. Okay, so now this part is rarely used because what it means is that you combine two objects without needing to combine them. What it means that if you press this part, bundle group, we combine, you're basically combining two objects into one object, right? But the difference is that when you try to, let's say, do something, but the difference is that it's not completely combined. It means that if you try to delete a shape or something, it doesn't really help. So I really do not suggest you guys to use the bundle group. Okay, turn back to what it is, Control Z. Okay, so now there's also another feature in Tinkercad whereby we are going to go as to the mirror feature. When you press mirror means that you can flip the object at the opposite direction, mirroring. So if you press this arrow, you are mirroring the object at the opposite direction. This is really helpful when you are duplicating objects because you want the object to be at the other side while not needing to move it manually. It makes it much more efficient for us to work. Move it there, move it there. See? Easier. So I've told you how to group, combine objects, how to mirror, and also I forgot to tell you about this. This icon right here, which is align, means that you can align your objects that you want to combine into multiple areas. For example, at the middle, you want to combine it middle, press the point at the middle there, dot right there, and you already align it into the middle. You can also do it right here, y-axis, and also a z-axis and y-axis. See, you've already aligned object to be very much in the middle. Control Z to return back everything, return back to normal. Okay, and that's basically all the features of Tinkercad. Now, before we end this video, I want to show you another feature in Tinkercad, which is disappear. When you press an object and you want to, let's say, you want to create an object, but I want to disappear a few parts of it because I want to add more parts. You can disappear it by pressing the light bulb icon, which also means hide. So you can also press Ctrl H, the hotkey, to disappear it, or you can simply press the icon. So when you press the icon, the object completely disappears. And no, it does not get deleted, it just only disappears for a while. It's the same features like for those found in Tinkercad, like for those found in Blender and many other 3D design websites or apps. To return it, you can still simply press the light bulb icon that before this was invisible or grayish but now become black. Press that and your object has now returned back to its original root. Okay. Now another part of Tinkercad is that, for example, another part of Tinkercad that really helps you create design is this part. Okay. I'll give you an example. You want to combine, you want to create a hole. You have a box, you want to create a hole, right? To create a hole, since you cannot make a hole using that box only, you have to add objects to create a hole. You might wonder, how do I do it? Because I've only taught you to add and combine objects, but how do we create holes or disappear some parts of our object to create our design? Well, you can do that by simply taking our cylinder here or any other object, scaling it up. For me, I like to go it up, and then I'll move this one right in the middle. Press this part or press this part whole. When you press that, it turns our object into transparent. Now we're going to do the same thing. We just combine these two objects. Combine them. Wait, I just have to make sure this one completely passes through. Combine them. And ta-da! You've now created a hole using Tinkercad. You are now created a hole using a block. So that's basically how you can create designs using Tinkercad by adding objects and also sculpting them to make your own design by adding another blocks or objects to disappear to turn it into a hole like we did just now, so that we can make objects or holes for our objects. So that's basically how you how you can design your 3D design using Tinkercad. At the right here is all of the shapes that Tinkercad offers for you to design. As I said before, Tinkercad is a website or an app that allows you to create designs by adding objects. So they offer a lot of different shapes that you can use to create your own design. This is all the basic shapes that they offer. If you go here, press the button, press that click over there, you can see there's a lot of different shapes and objects that Tinkercad offers for you to create. You can explore them by yourself, you can explore them by yourself, or if you want, I'll be making more videos on using those objects to create more designs. So that's basically how to create objects using Tinkercad. Now to save your object, just simply press the icon of Tinkercad right here, the logo. Press that, and your work or your project you're doing has already been saved to the cloud. This really is very useful for designers, especially for beginners, because there's a lot of different designs that we want to make, but they require us to practice a lot. And if you use normal design software such as Blender, it will require us to download them, which would cause our computer to be much more heavy or have a longer process time. So by doing this, it allows us to save our work and us create more designs. Well, that's all for the video today. I hope this video is helpful in allowing you guys to be able to create more 3D designs in the upcoming future. After this, I will create another video. I will do more videos focusing on using Tinkercad to create more and more different designs, ranging from spaceships, aircraft, and cars. I really hope after this, you will be able to follow me in my journey to help you guys creating more 3D designs. If you found this video to be helpful, please leave a like and subscribe and share this to any of your friends who might find this video to be helpful to them. That's all for me. See you in the next video. See you when I see you. Bye bye.